Aaron wiped his hands on a rag as he stared at the human outpost's main hangar. He had spent most of his life fixing machines, engines, and small drones. The hum of machinery was familiar and comforting, and he liked the predictability of gears and circuits. Life at the edge of human space was quiet, almost too quiet. Sometimes, Aaron wished for excitement, but he also knew it could be dangerous. That evening, the sky turned a pale orange as the sun dipped below distant hills. The outpost seemed peaceful, but the silence was broken by a sudden blaring alarm. Red lights flashed, and the control panels buzzed urgently. The entire base went into motion. Aaron froze for a moment, his hands still holding a wrench. He could hear soldiers shouting, footsteps running, and engines whirring. Something had arrived near the edge of the outpost. Aaron ran toward the hangar bay, curiosity pulling him faster than fear. Outside, a strange ship hovered just above the ground. Its design was unlike anything he had seen before. The metal shimmered with colors that shifted like liquid, and faint energy sparks danced along its hull. Smoke rose from the back where the engines had obviously taken damage. Aaron's heart raced. A panel opened on the ship, and a figure stepped out. She was tall and regal, with a presence that made Aaron instinctively step back. Her armor glimmered under the fading sun, but cracks ran along the metal, and small sparks flew from broken circuits. Her golden eyes scanned the area, sharp and cautious. Every move she made showed power and command, yet there was a hint of pain in her stance. Aaron felt a mixture of fear and awe. He had seen injured soldiers and pilots, but this was someone important. Someone extraordinary. The moment their eyes met, Aaron knew she was no ordinary visitor. "Can you fix it?" she asked, her voice calm but carrying authority. She was speaking in the common human language, but her accent was strange, almost musical. Aaron hesitated. I think I can try," he said. "I'm good with machines." The Queen's gaze softened slightly. "This is more than a machine," she said. "This armor protects my life. Can you handle it?" Aaron swallowed. He had repaired engines and drones, but never an alien battlesuit. It looked complicated, almost alive with energy circuits that pulsed like veins. But something in him stirred a mixture of confidence and curiosity. He nodded. "I'll do my best." The Queen, whose name he later learned was Myra, stepped aside. Aaron approached the broken armor carefully. The pieces were heavier than he expected. Wires sparked gently as he touched them. He studied the patterns and connections, trying to understand how the alien design worked. The metal was flexible yet strong, and the circuits glowed faintly with a golden hue. Aaron's fingers traced the damage. Small dents, broken links, and scorched energy cells were spread across the suit. It was a delicate job. One wrong move could worsen the damage. Aaron began cleaning the broken parts, using small tools and precise movements. Myra watched silently. She did not speak, but her presence was commanding. He could feel her eyes on him as he worked, analyzing every motion. At first, Aaron felt nervous. He was just a human mechanic, while she was a queen with an entire species behind her. But then he focused on the task, ignoring the pressure, thinking only about fixing the armor. Minutes turned into hours. The sun dipped completely below the horizon, leaving the outpost under the pale glow of artificial lights. Sparks flew from Aaron's tools, but carefully controlled. Myra finally spoke. "You are patient. Few humans would try this." Aaron looked up and smiled, wiping sweat from his forehead. "I like solving problems. Machines, and sometimes people, I guess." He realized he had said too much and glanced away. Myra studied him carefully. For centuries, her people had relied on fear and power to survive. Trust was rare. Yet this human offered help without expecting anything in return. She felt something unfamiliar, a sense of comfort in his quiet confidence. Aaron continued working, connecting broken circuits, replacing damaged plates, and aligning the armor so it would move naturally with her body. Myra watched as the pieces began to fit together again. Slowly, the suit regained its shape, almost as if it was healing. Aaron felt proud, and Myra felt a strange warmth in her chest. Finally, Aaron stepped back. "It should hold now," he said. "I think it will protect you." Myra raised a hand and touched the armor. Energy flowed smoothly through the circuits, and the cracks seemed less severe. She looked at Aaron with a rare smile, one that carried gratitude and curiosity. "You have fixed my armor," she said softly, "but somehow, you have given me hope too." Aaron felt his heart race. He was just a mechanic, yet his work had reached beyond metal and circuits. He had touched something deeper. Myra's golden eyes shone in the dim light. For the first time, Aaron realized that helping someone could be as meaningful as building anything he had ever created. At the edge of human space, with the sun gone and the stars beginning to shine, Aaron and Myra stood quietly in the hangar. The armor was repaired, but something more had begun, an unlikely bond between a human mechanic and an alien queen. The night was still, but the outpost would not be quiet for long. The hangar was quiet after the armor was repaired, but the air still felt heavy with tension. Aaron stood back, wiping his hands again, and studied the alien queen. Myra moved gracefully in her restored armor, testing its weight and balance. The hum of the energy circuits ran smoothly now, and she seemed pleased. For the first time, she allowed herself to relax slightly around a human. "You are different from others," Myra said, her golden eyes studying him. Her voice was calm but carried the weight of someone who had faced countless battles. "Most humans would run or hide. Most would not risk themselves for me." Aaron shrugged, a little embarrassed. "I guess I like fixing things. Machines, problems, sometimes people. It just feels right to help." He hesitated, then added, "Even if it's risky." Myra nodded, her gaze softening. She had spent centuries leading her people, teaching them to rely on strength, fear, and strategy. Trust was rare. Yet, this human seemed to offer it freely, without expectation or calculation. She had always expected to feel alone in the universe. But now, standing before Aaron, she sensed a small spark of connection. "Your hands are steady," she said quietly, almost to herself. "Your mind is careful. You think before you act. These are rare qualities." Aaron smiled faintly, unsure how to respond. He had repaired machines that could destroy entire planets, yet he had never received praise like this. Myra's words felt different, more meaningful than any reward he had earned. Suddenly, the outpost alarm rang again, but this time it was quieter, a soft warning. Myra's golden eyes narrowed. She moved closer to Aaron and lowered her voice. "We are not alone. The enemy is near. I felt their presence before they arrived. They seek to capture me." Aaron froze for a moment. "Capture you," he repeated, trying to understand. "Who are they?" "They are from a rival faction," Myra explained. "They hunt leaders of my people. They want to control my species. If they find me, they will take everything I have built. If they fail, they will destroy those who helped me." Aaron felt a chill run down his spine. He had repaired machines under pressure, but he had never faced a threat like this. He realized that his work on her armor was more than fixing metal and circuits. It was about survival. His hands had restored her strength, but now he might need courage beyond anything he had imagined. Myra studied him closely. "You remain calm," she observed. "Most humans panic when danger approaches. Yet you continue with focus. That is why I trust you." Aaron nodded, though his heart raced. "I will do my best to help. I don't want to fail." Myra allowed a faint smile, almost invisible, but it carried warmth. It is not only the armor you have repaired. You have given me confidence. You have reminded me that trust is possible. The queen moved to the center of the hangar, her armor glowing faintly in the dim light. Aaron followed, keeping a careful distance. He watched as she tested the movement of her arms and legs. The armor adjusted perfectly, flowing with her motions. Aaron felt pride in his work, but he also felt a new responsibility. Myra's survival now rested partly in his hands, and he could not let fear stop him. Minutes passed as they stayed in the hangar. The stars outside began to twinkle faintly through the windows. The quiet moments were strange after the tension of the crash and repair work. Yet, Aaron noticed something else. Myra seemed less rigid than he expected. She had a grace that spoke of leadership and experience, but also a vulnerability that few would ever see. He realized that fixing her armor had opened a door to something deeper, and unspoken trust between them. Myra spoke again, softly. I have led my people for centuries. I have learned to rely on strength, strategy, and loyalty. But rarely do I meet someone who offers help without demand. You have shown me that even in the edge of danger, kindness exists. Aaron's heart quickened. He had not expected praise, yet her words resonated with him. I just do what I can, he said simply. Myra nodded, satisfied. That is enough. That is more than enough. She studied him for a long moment, as if memorizing his presence. Aaron could feel the weight of her attention, but it was not threatening. It was curious, and it was warm. Then, without warning, the quiet warning from the outpost grew stronger. Sensors detected multiple ships approaching the base. Myra's expression changed instantly from calm to alert. She turned to Aaron and said firmly, "Prepare yourself. The enemy may arrive soon. I do not expect you to fight, but you must stay close and help where you can." Aaron nodded. Fear and excitement mixed inside him. He was not a soldier, yet he had already proven his worth through patience and skill. Now, he would need courage. Myra stepped forward, armor humming, golden eyes scanning the horizon. Aaron followed, ready to face whatever came next. The bond between them had begun in silence, built from trust, respect, and shared purpose. And as the first distant lights of the approaching enemy flickered on the horizon, Aaron realized that repairing armor could be the start of something much larger, an unlikely alliance between human and alien, mechanic and queen. For the first time in his life, he felt that his small skills might make a difference in a battle far beyond anything he had imagined. The night air was tense around the outpost. Stars sparkled coldly above, but on the ground, nervous energy crackled through every corridor. Aaron worked beside the control panels, checking machinery and energy lines to make sure everything was ready. He had repaired the Queen's armor, but now he realized the stakes were higher than he had imagined. Myra moved silently through the hangar, her restored armor gleaming under the lights. Every movement was careful and deliberate. She had faced battles before, yet this situation was different. The enemy was unknown in number and skill. Her scouts had warned her that rival fleets were pursuing her, seeking control over her people. The danger was real, immediate, and overwhelming. Aaron glanced up from a console, watching her. He noticed the small gestures she made, how she adjusted a shoulder plate, how her eyes scanned the sensors. There was a quiet tension in her posture, but also a sense of determination that inspired him. He had never seen anyone so composed under pressure. "You have prepared well," Myra said, her voice steady. "The outpost can hold for a short time, but we will not withstand a full assault for long." "I'll do whatever I can," Aaron replied. His hands hovered over the controls, ready to manage energy flows, repair any damage, or reroute power to critical systems. "Just tell me what you need." Myra studied him carefully. She had expected humans to be afraid, hesitant, or panicked. Aaron was calm, focused, and willing. He was not a soldier, yet his mind worked like a strategist. She felt a strange sense of relief knowing he was at her side. The quiet hum of the outpost was broken by sudden readings on the sensors. Multiple ships appeared on the perimeter, cloaked in darkness but visible through the energy readings. Myra's eyes narrowed. "They are here," she said, her voice low. "Prepare yourself, Aaron. These are not small craft. They intend to take me alive." Fear crept into Aaron's chest, but he pushed it down. His work on machines had prepared him for precision, patience, and calm under pressure. Now, he realized these qualities could save lives. He adjusted the control panels, rerouting power to defensive systems and reinforcing the shields. Sparks flew from some damaged circuits, but Aaron worked quickly, his mind focused entirely on survival. Myra stepped toward the exit of the hangar, her armor humming as energy flowed through it. She tested the movements carefully, ensuring no piece was out of place. Aaron followed, keeping close but giving her space to move. He realized that her strength was not only in her armor but in her intelligence and experience. Every action she took was calculated, precise, and confident. The enemy ships moved closer, casting shadows across the outpost. Myra's soldiers began to arrive, alert and ready. They were fewer than their opponents, but they trusted their queen. Aaron felt a new sense of responsibility. He was not just repairing machines, he was helping to protect life. Every decision he made could affect the outcome of the battle. "Aaron," Myra said, turning to him. "You will remain here if the enemy breaches the outer walls. Keep systems running. Do not leave your post. Your work is just as important as any weapon." "I understand," Aaron replied, trying to hide the nervousness in his voice. Hours passed as they prepared. The hangar lights cast long shadows, and the hum of energy from Myra's armor and the outpost systems filled the air. Aaron moved carefully among the panels, checking for malfunctions and rerouting power to maintain full operational capacity. Myra walked past him occasionally, her golden eyes scanning the horizon, but she never spoke unless necessary. She trusted him, and Aaron felt proud that he could live up to that trust. Then, the first signs of attack came. Laser pulses streaked across the dark sky, striking the outer walls of the outpost. Explosions shook the ground. Myra immediately took her position at the front of the hangar, armor glowing as she prepared to defend. Her soldiers followed her lead, and Aaron stayed close to the control systems, ensuring that energy shields and defenses worked without interruption. Myra glanced at him briefly. "Stay alert," she said. "Your hands are steady. Your mind is sharp. That is why I trust you." Aaron nodded, his heart pounding. He was not trained for combat, but his focus on machines and systems could make a difference. The enemy's attack intensified, and every pulse of energy through the shields reminded Aaron of the delicate balance between success and failure. For the first time, Aaron realized that repairing the Queen's armor was not just about metal or circuits. It was about trust, survival, and hope. Myra depended on him, and he would not fail. In the shadows of danger, a bond grew stronger between human and alien, mechanic and queen. They were allies now, facing a threat that could change everything in the galaxy. And as the first enemy ships moved closer to the outpost, Aaron tightened his grip on the controls, ready to prove that courage and skill could be just as powerful as strength and firepower. The night deepened around the outpost, and the hum of energy from Myra's repaired armor filled the hangar. Outside, distant flashes of light marked the movement of enemy ships. Aaron moved carefully among the control panels, making sure that every system worked at its best. He was not trained as a soldier, but his hands and mind were precise, capable of keeping the outpost's defenses active and strong. Myra leaned against a support beam for a moment, watching him work. She had fought countless battles, yet she had never seen someone so calm under pressure. The quiet determination in his movements reminded her that courage came in many forms. It was not only about wielding weapons or giving commands. Sometimes, courage was patience, skill, and steady hands. "You move well," she said finally, her golden eyes focusing on him. "Even in danger, your work does not falter." Aaron looked up and smiled faintly. "I just do what I can. I guess machines and systems don't panic like humans do." Myra laughed softly, a sound that seemed almost musical. "Perhaps that is true. But even machines need guidance. You are more than your tools, human. I can see that now." For a long moment, they stood quietly in the hangar. Aaron's hands rested on the console as Myra observed the systems he had reinforced. The energy shields glowed steadily, and the lights from the hangar reflected softly on her armor. The danger outside was real, yet inside, there was a small space of calm and trust. "Tell me about your work," Myra said suddenly. "You repair things that humans depend on. Do you enjoy it?" Aaron thought for a moment. "I enjoy it when I can fix something that matters. Machines, systems, even people in their own way. There is satisfaction in seeing a problem solved, knowing that what you do helps others." Myra studied him, her eyes reflecting the soft light of the hangar. "Most humans are focused on survival, profit, or power. You are different. You care about the result, not what you gain. That is why I trust you." Aaron blushed slightly, unused to praise from anyone, let alone an alien queen. "I just do what I think is right," he said quietly. Outside, a faint vibration ran through the floor. The enemy was moving closer. Myra straightened, her posture shifting from relaxed to alert. "They are near. Soon, they will attempt to breach the outer walls. Be ready, Aaron." "I'm ready," he replied, though his heart raced. He could feel the tension in the air. Every pulse of energy, every light flicker, reminded him of the danger. Yet, he did not hesitate. His hands moved quickly, checking systems, rerouting power where it was needed most. Myra approached him, standing close to the console. "Do not be afraid," she said softly. "Fear weakens the mind. Focus, patience, and steady hands. That is all you need." Aaron nodded, reassured by her words. Myra's confidence was contagious. He realized that this partnership was more than necessity. She depended on him, and he felt a growing responsibility to protect her in return. Minutes passed as they worked together. Myra occasionally adjusted her armor, testing its flexibility and energy flow. Aaron continued monitoring the shields and power systems. Every time sparks flew from a console, he corrected them with steady hands. Together, they moved as a team, a human and an alien queen united by circumstance and trust. "You know," Myra said after a moment, "I have faced enemies who thought fear would control me. I have fought battles where my soldiers doubted my strategy. Yet now, I find comfort in the presence of a human mechanic. It is unexpected." Aaron smiled. Sometimes the unexpected helps the most. The hum of energy and the quiet tension created a strange rhythm in the hangar. They worked in silence for a while, interrupted only by small comments or questions. Aaron adjusted the circuits in a panel while Myra observed the sensors for enemy movement. Slowly, a bond formed, not spoken in words but in trust and shared purpose. Suddenly, an alert blared, signaling that enemy drones had approached a perimeter gate. Myra's eyes narrowed. "Prepare yourself," she said. "They will test the defenses. We must respond quickly." Aaron moved to the controls, rerouting power to the gates and activating the defense turrets. Sparks flew, but his hands were steady. Myra moved to the front of the hangar, testing the movement of her armor as she prepared for any attack. Her confidence in him strengthened her own. "You have done well, Aaron," she said quietly as she adjusted a control on her armor. Your work has kept the outpost strong. Your hands are steady, and your mind is sharp. That is why I trust you. Aaron felt pride swell inside him. He was just a mechanic, yet he realized that his skills could make a real difference in a battle that could decide survival. Together, they stood ready, human and alien, preparing for the challenges to come. In that quiet moment, amid the hum of machines and energy, a new understanding passed between them. Trust, courage, and respect had begun to grow. And as the first distant movements of the enemy fleet flickered outside, Aaron understood that repairing armor was not just about machines. It was about forming bonds, giving hope, and standing together when danger approached. The first flashes of light from the enemy ship streaked across the dark sky. Explosions shook the outpost walls, sending vibrations through the hangar where Aaron and Myra prepared. Myra's armor glowed softly, energy flowing smoothly through the repaired circuits. She moved with purpose, every motion precise and deliberate, ready to lead her people into the first wave of battle. Aaron's hands flew across the control panels, rerouting power to defensive systems and activating energy shields around the hangar and perimeter walls. Sparks occasionally flickered, but he worked quickly and steadily, keeping systems online. He had never faced a battle like this before, but he relied on the skills that had repaired the Queen's armor, applying patience and precision to protect the outpost and its inhabitants. Myra moved to the front of the hangar, surveying the battlefield. Her soldiers were ready, forming defensive lines and activating energy weapons. Even with fewer numbers, their confidence in her leadership was unwavering. Myra glanced at Aaron, who adjusted the final energy nodes for the shields. Her golden eyes softened slightly. Your hands have restored strength to more than armor. You have given us hope, she said. Aaron felt a surge of determination. He was not a warrior, but he could contribute in his own way. Each shield, each circuit, each system he maintained could make the difference between survival and defeat. He nodded to Myra, who returned the gesture, her expression resolute and confident. The first wave of enemy drones appeared, moving quickly toward the outpost. Energy pulses streaked through the sky as they attempted to break through the shields. Myra's soldiers fired back, while she moved gracefully, deflecting attacks and striking with precision. Her restored armor absorbed the impacts, energy coursing through it like a river of light. Aaron watched closely, ensuring that the defensive systems functioned without interruption. A second wave followed, larger and more aggressive. Explosions rocked the hangar as enemy fire hit the perimeter. Myra adjusted her position, calling out orders to her soldiers. Hold the line. Protect the outpost. Her voice was calm yet commanding, instilling courage in everyone nearby. Aaron worked tirelessly, rerouting power, repairing damaged circuits, and keeping weapons online. Despite the chaos, Aaron noticed Myra's attention to detail. She moved with purpose, every action deliberate, analyzing the battlefield with precision. He realized that her strength was not only in her armor or weapons but also in her intelligence and experience. She inspired those around her, making them stronger simply by her presence. An enemy drone broke through the shields near the southern gate. Myra sprang into action, moving with incredible speed. Her armor glowed as energy discharged from her gauntlets, destroying the drone before it could reach the gate. Aaron quickly rerouted power to reinforce the weakened section of the shield. His hands moved steadily, his mind focused entirely on keeping the outpost secure. You are calm in the storm, Myra said as she returned to the hangar center to check on Aaron. Most would panic, but you remain steady. That is why I trust you. Aaron nodded, feeling a mix of fear and pride. I am doing what I can, he said. The battle continued for hours. Enemy ships attempted multiple breaches, but the combined efforts of Myra, her soldiers, and Aaron's careful management of the systems kept the outpost intact. Sparks flew from damaged panels, and alarms rang frequently, but Aaron worked tirelessly to repair each system, rerouting energy and activating backup protocols. Myra fought tirelessly, moving from one front to another, striking with precision and speed. Her soldiers followed her lead, drawing courage from her presence. Aaron realized that their survival depended not only on weapons and shields but also on trust and coordination. He and Myra were partners in this fight, each contributing in their own way. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the enemy began to retreat. Explosions faded, and the hum of energy returned to a steadier rhythm. Myra stood tall, her armor glowing softly, surveying the battlefield. Aaron wiped sweat from his brow, exhaustion evident but mixed with relief. "You have done well," Myra said quietly, placing a hand on Aaron's shoulder. "Your skills, your patience, and your courage have helped save many lives. You have shown that even in the face of danger, steady hands and a clear mind can make a difference." Aaron looked at her, unsure how to respond. He had only done what he could, yet her words filled him with pride. I I just did my job," he said simply. Myra smiled, a rare expression of warmth and gratitude. "It is more than a job. You have given hope when it was needed most. You have proven that courage takes many forms." As the night settled over the outpost, Aaron and Myra stood together, observing the remaining enemy ships retreating into the darkness. The battle had been won, but the war was not over. Yet, in that quiet moment after the fight, they shared a silent understanding. Together, human and alien, mechanic and queen, they had faced the storm and survived. And in that moment, Aaron realized that repairing armor was never just about machines. It was about trust, courage, and standing together when everything else seemed uncertain. The bond between them had grown stronger, and for the first time, he felt that he could truly make a difference in the galaxy. The battlefield had quieted, but the tension in the air remained. Sparks still flickered from damaged consoles, and the smell of scorched metal hung faintly in the hangar. Aaron moved carefully among the panels, checking systems for any hidden faults. He knew that even small malfunctions could be dangerous if the enemy returned. His hands were steady, his mind focused, as he ensured that the outpost remained secure. Myra stood near the hangar entrance, her golden eyes scanning the horizon. The glow of her repaired armor reflected softly in the dim lights. She had fought countless battles before, but tonight had been different. She had seen courage in unexpected places. The human mechanic beside her had risked his life quietly, without fear or hesitation, ensuring the defenses held. She realized that his presence had not only helped protect the outpost but had strengthened the spirits of her soldiers. "You are calm even when others fear," Myra said, her voice carrying both admiration and warmth. "Most humans would panic, but you remain steady. That steadiness is rare. That is why I trust you." Aaron felt a mix of pride and humility. "I just do what I can," he said. "I never thought it would be this important." Myra studied him carefully, noting the quiet determination in his eyes. "You understand more than you realize. Courage is not always shown through weapons. It can be in skill, patience, and focus. You have those qualities in abundance." As she spoke, the outpost's sensors detected distant movements. A smaller fleet of enemy scouts was approaching, likely sent to test the defenses once more. Myra immediately adjusted her stance, preparing for another wave. Aaron moved quickly to reinforce the energy shields, rerouting power to the most vulnerable sections. The air hummed with tension, but both of them worked with a shared understanding and trust that needed no words. The first enemy scout ships appeared, firing sporadically as they moved toward the outpost. Myra acted quickly, deflecting attacks and striking with precision. Her armor glowed as energy pulses discharged, taking out the incoming scouts efficiently. Aaron monitored the defense systems, activating turrets and shields to complement her actions. He realized that their efforts were no longer separate but synchronized. Every movement of hers, Every adjustment he made, created a balance that strengthened their combined defense. Myra noticed his focus and concentration. "You do not fear," she said softly. "Even now, under fire, you maintain clarity. That is not easy." "I focus on what I can do," Aaron replied. "I cannot control everything, but I can do my part." The enemy ships pressed forward, attempting to overwhelm the outpost. Myra and her soldiers engaged them with determination. Aaron's precise handling of the energy systems allowed every turret and shield to function perfectly. Each success built confidence in both of them. Myra felt a rare sense of comfort in his presence. His hands had restored her armor, and now his mind was helping protect her people. For a brief moment, the battle slowed. Myra and Aaron stood side by side, observing the remaining enemy ships retreat. The hangar lights reflected in her glowing armor, and Aaron noticed the subtle fatigue in her posture. Yet she remained vigilant, always alert to potential threats. "You have done more than repair armor," she said, turning to him. "You have strengthened more than metal. You have strengthened hearts, including mine." Aaron was startled. He had expected praise for his skill, but her words carried something deeper. I I only did what I could," he said, unsure how to respond. Myra smiled, a rare and gentle expression. "It is enough. It is more than enough. You have reminded me that trust and care can exist even in a dangerous universe. Your hands and mind have given hope when it was most needed." Outside, the stars shone quietly, but the memory of the enemy fleet lingered. Aaron felt a new sense of purpose. He had repaired machines and armor for years, but tonight he realized that the true measure of his skill was the lives he helped protect. Myra's trust had shown him that courage and skill could create bonds stronger than any armor or weapon. The night passed with careful vigilance. Aaron continued checking the systems, making sure everything remained operational. Myra occasionally approached him, observing his work and speaking softly about strategy or systems. Each conversation strengthened the silent bond forming between them. He realized that their connection was no longer simply about survival. It was about respect, trust, and shared purpose in a world where danger could appear at any moment. By the first light of morning, the outpost had survived. The enemy ships were gone, retreating into the darkness. Myra stood tall, armor glowing gently, surveying the calm battlefield. She turned to Aaron and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You have not only repaired machines," she said softly, "but you have repaired hearts as well. Mine included." Aaron felt a warmth inside that he had not experienced before. He had only wanted to fix armor, but in doing so, he had built something far more valuable: trust, courage, and a bond that might last longer than any battle. And as the sun began to rise over the outpost, human and alien stood together, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy would bring. Their hearts, like their weapons and armor, were strengthened, and the trust between them was unbreakable. The battlefield was quiet now. The enemy ships had retreated beyond the sensors, leaving the outpost safe for the moment. Sparks still flickered from damaged consoles, but Aaron moved calmly among them, checking systems one last time. He had worked tirelessly through the night, repairing armor, energy shields, and control panels. Every action had mattered, every decision had contributed to survival. Myra stood near the hangar entrance, her golden eyes scanning the horizon one final time. The glow from her repaired armor reflected softly in the lights above. She had led her soldiers through a dangerous battle, but it was Aaron's steady hands and sharp mind that had kept the outpost intact. She realized that courage and loyalty came in many forms. Sometimes it was visible in weapons, sometimes in quiet determination. Aaron had shown both. "You have done well," Myra said quietly as she approached him. Her voice carried calm authority, but there was warmth in it that Aaron had not heard before. "Your hands have restored more than machines. They have strengthened hope. They have strengthened hearts. Mine included." Aaron felt a mixture of surprise and humility. He had only done what he could, but her words carried a depth that made him pause. "I only fixed what I could," he said softly. Myra shook her head gently. "It was more than fixing machines. You have shown trust, patience, and courage. That is rare. You remind me that even in a galaxy full of conflict, care and skill can make a real difference." Aaron looked at her, noticing the subtle fatigue in her posture. She had led armies, faced enemies, and endured battles, yet her calm focus had never wavered. He realized that her strength came not only from her armor or her weapons but from her mind, her courage, and her ability to trust someone unexpected. For a long moment, they stood in silence. The hum of energy from the repaired systems filled the hangar, mingling with the faint warmth of dawn light. Outside, the sky shifted from dark blue to pale gold, and the first rays of sunlight touched the outpost. The quiet brought a sense of peace neither of them had felt in a long time. "You know," Myra said finally, "I have faced battles that tested every skill I have. I have led my people through war and strife. But rarely have I found someone whose presence brings calm in the storm. Your hands repaired armor, yes, but they also reminded me that trust and care still exist." Aaron felt a warmth inside that he could not fully explain. He had always seen machines as the most important things he could fix, but now he understood that actions could heal more than metal. They could strengthen courage, restore hope, and form bonds between beings from different worlds. Myra stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. Her armor glowed softly, the hum of energy steady and reassuring. "You have not only repaired my armor," she said, "but you have repaired hearts. You have reminded me that even a queen can rely on others, that trust is a strength, not a weakness." Aaron swallowed, feeling the weight of her words. I I did not expect that," he said simply. "I only wanted to help." Myra smiled, a rare and gentle expression. "That is enough. Your actions speak louder than words. You have proven that courage, patience, and skill are as powerful as any weapon." Around them, the outpost slowly came to life again. Soldiers checked systems and repaired minor damage. The energy shields pulsed softly, and the hangar lights reflected off the repaired armor of the Queen. Aaron realized that his work had mattered in ways he could not have imagined. The night's battle had tested everyone, but it had also created something new, a bond built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. Myra looked at him with quiet gratitude. "I have led for centuries, but rarely have I met someone who changes how I see the world. You have done that. You have reminded me that even small actions can have great impact." Aaron felt a sense of pride and humility mixed together. He had never imagined that fixing a machine could lead to such meaning. Yet here he was, standing beside an alien queen who trusted him completely. He realized that bravery was not always about fighting. Sometimes it was about patience, care, and commitment. The sun rose higher, casting light across the outpost. Myra adjusted her armor and turned to face Aaron fully. "You have saved more than my armor tonight," she said. "You have saved hope, courage, and hearts. From now on, I will trust you, not only with my armor but with my confidence. That is a rare gift." Aaron smiled, feeling a deep sense of purpose. "I will do my best," he said. "For the outpost, for you, and for everyone who depends on us." Myra nodded, placing a firm hand on his shoulder. "That is all anyone can ask. And for that, I am grateful." Together, human and alien stood in the hangar, the hum of energy surrounding them, sunlight warming the space. They had faced danger, fought a battle, and survived. But more importantly, they had formed a bond that neither armor nor weapon could protect. It was trust, courage, and understanding, the strongest force of all. And in that quiet morning light, Aaron realized that fixing armor was never just about metal. It was about building hope, forming bonds, and sometimes, repairing hearts.